Thank you, Dr. Anita, for the kind words. Respected seniors and my dear colleagues and friends. Today I shall be talking about silicone sling, which is the most commonly done ptosis surgery in today's era, I believe. Indications of frontalis sling, we all know it's a preferred procedure in severe ptosis, procedure of choice for bilateral ptosis, and in unilateral severe ptosis with poor levator action also. This is the procedure of choice. If we talk about the artificial material, silicone rod is the best material. And when we talk about autologous material, fascia lata remains the gold standard. There are some obvious advantages of silicone sling. Biggest advantage is that it is potentially reversible, and this is a great boon in infants and patients with poor Bell's phenomena. Sometimes you need to do some readjustment in post-operative period, which is not possible with fascia lata. There is least lead lag and lag ophthalmos, so again it gives you advantage wherever you are doing sling procedure in patients with poor Bell's like CPEO and other myopathies. Then it is readily available material. The surgery duration is quite short and it is of almost equal efficacy as of fascia lata. Complication profile is very acceptable, but it's not nil, but it is quite acceptable. And it is extremely easy to be done under local anesthesia. So there is many type of methodology how a silicone sling should be passed. Most commonly done is pentagon, and I'll be only explaining you the pentagon way. This was described originally by the Fox, Sidney Fox. Here we make 5 stab incisions. I'll straight away go to the video. So this is a pediatric age group patient, around a year-old patient. So what we do is, we just check a sweet point on the lid. Sweet point I describe to a point wherever you lift the lid and you get even contour. So this may not be right at the center of lid in all cases. This may be a little lateral or medial. So then we mark 2 points equidistant to that sweet point. These 2 points should not be more than 9 to 10 millimeter away, because if you make these 2 steps quite widely spaced, then there will be some bunching here. Then you make 5 stab incisions. You can use radio frequency cautery also, and you can use blade knife also. It's a personal choice. There is no great bleeding. There may be some transient bleeding. So these 5 incisions are just stab incisions. Here you should not be going up to the periosteum. You should remain within the muscle itself. Now incision of importance is this. There you make dissection, you do dissection in 2 planes, one just below the skin, you do some undermining, and then here I am below the muscle now, and I am making a tract. This long tract will be used to bury the ends of silicone, because then you will be ensuring that there is no extrusion post-operatively, and you can leave long length of silicone also. One important thing which I want to highlight here is that I use both the needles per eye. This is commercially available silicone sling, wherein you have a 800 micron silicone sling, and on both ends of sling these 2 long needles are attached, and there is a sleeve in between. So what most people are doing that they are cutting this silicone rod in the center and then using 1 needle per eye. But I believe the ideal way is to use both the needles in a single eye. You will be only spending 700-800 rupees more if you utilize both the needles, but this gives you more control. So what should be done, and what I do is, I just remove this sleeve from the needle itself like this. You can utilize whole of sleeve, or you can cut it in 2 and utilize one part if you feel it is quite long. Then these needles are malleable. Just bend it. Start from the tarsus if you are utilizing both the needles per eye. If you are utilizing 1 needle per eye, then you will have to start from this top incision. So start from tarsus. You will have to be on pretarsal plate only. always confirm that you have not pierced the tarsus plate, because especially in pediatric age group, tarsus is very thin. Sometimes you pierce it and you even do not recognize it. So always make sure, check whether you have not pierced it. Now pass again this needle. You will have to be little deep. Ideal plane is just above the levator and below the orbicularis. So while coming out through these steps, check for the free movement of this silicone rod. You should not be impinging on any subcutaneous tissue. So you will have to check for free movement of needle as well as sleeve. So there is no impingement of any tissue here. Then come out in the central incision. Both the parts. And after coming out, you just thread that sleeve by these needle itself. You need not to extend the sleeve or hold sleeve by artery or something like that. Just thread sleeve by the needle itself. One and the second. So just thread the sleeve. After that, pull the silicone rod, tighten the lid to the desired level. In all adult patients, you keep lid at limbus or slightly more 1 millimeter above the limbus. But in pediatric age group, you leave lid at limbus or 1 millimeter below the limbus. You can place some knots also over it just to give added security. And then we pass a non-absorbable suture just above the sleeve or on the sleeve itself. Then cut a long end so that post-operative readjustment is possible, and bury this in the tunnel which we have made initially. So this is the step of paramount importance. You have to bury it deep and then suture it. So this is the okay. So there is another clip. I'll just show one important aspect. This particular patient is having elevator palsy also along with this. So what is done in adult patient whenever you are doing unilateral sling is that we excise skin muscle lamina almost in all cases. Otherwise there will be some boginess. So for the procedure per se, this step is not required. But if you want to give symmetrical result, you want to have a symmetrical lid fold, so in addition you need to do this particular step and do this excision at this point only before passing the silicone rod. Because if you do this skin strip excision at the end of surgery, sometimes you may cut even the rod which is there. So do not leave this particular step for the end of surgery. So rest of the steps are same. One can use right facial at a needle also. Some people do that. And then finally, you just apply some sutures on the skin also, the part which you have excised. So just to highlight certain pearls of silicone sling, one very important point is never reuse the sleeve. Sometimes we are in a habit of saving one part of sleeve and using it later on. If you reuse it, then there will be higher chances of granuloma and infection. And if you are using sling fresh per eye, I don't think ever you will have this granuloma or infection. Then titrate silicone sling tightening according to the endpoint. We have discussed it. Make a long tunnel and leave cut end of silicone deep inside the tunnel. This is very important step. And this which I have highlighted, combined skin muscle excision in most cases, especially in unilateral cases in adults. So if you do not do skin muscle excision, there will be boginess like this. Though the correction is good, but these are not the desired corrections. Ideally, you want such kind of lid crease and fold after silicone sling. And this is only possible if you do sling along with skin muscle excision. If you do unilateral sling, there are certain problems. There will be variable lift at different time periods. If patient is using his or her frontalis, lid would be lifted out. If patient is relaxed, then there will be ptosis. There will be unilateral brow arching. There will be unilateral lid lag and leg ophthalmos, and it is less physiological. So to avoid these, we prefer doing bilateral sling also on the healthy eye. We explain these things to the patient, and many of the time patient agree for this. So that's the thing, because unilateral sling will give you this kind of lid lag in down gauge unilaterally, and this is quite unacceptable. To conclude, silicone rod is the best artificial material till date. It scores over fasciolata in potential reversibility of procedure in infant. It's a simpler procedure. But still, I believe fasciolata is the gold standard. I am a big fan of fasciolata, though I am presenting today silicone rod, but still around 70% of my cases I do it with fasciolata only, because it virtually eliminates the problems. While in silicone rod, these problems are very little, but sometimes you do get them. Thank you for your patience. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Mukesh. Any questions? Yes, doctor. Give him the mic.
Sir, as you have clearly mentioned about the complication of the the sling surgery, one of my colleague who is doing oculoplasty, he had one question of that. He has operated a 9-year-old children with sling operation, but after few months, the patient developed cellulitis. He has a pain over the upper eyelid and the tenderness in the suture margin. He have given him intravenous antibiotics to control the cellulitis, but this often reoccur again and again in frequent interval of time. So he want to know that at such type of condition, what he should do. He should remove the silicone rod, or what he has to do.
Yes. So it's a very good question, and it is the dreaded complication of silicone slings. Sometime we do get it. First, I'll describe the points that what should be done as a prophylactic way, so that this complication does not develop. Very important thing is never reuse sling. This mostly occurs when we reuse the sling. We have opened sling today and we are using the other half of sling maybe after 4 days or 7 days or 10 days. We keep sling autoclaved or like this. Or sometimes people use sutures also, like they think that only one bite of Prolene is required. Why to open a new file of suture? So they will keep suture in formalin chamber, and while applying that bite they may use the older suture, and these things contribute to this type of problem. Once cellulitis has developed, it is almost always mandatory to remove the sling. Unless and until you remove it, this problem will not go away. So one can give a brief trial of antibiotic, but I always prefer removing the sling. Then only you will be able to control it. After some time period, you may do repeat sling surgery if patient remains confident to you. Then you can do it after
We can we can go for sling surgery after few interval of time.
yeah,
Repeat
after
interval.
at least 2 months, when everything, inflammation and everything subsides.
I would say even
Thank
more
you,
than
sir.
2 months.
Yeah.
And
My preferred choice, even otherwise, is fasciolata. So I do straight away fasciolata, but just for those people who are not doing fasciolata, silicone sling can be repeated also, no big problem. Very rarely one can have allergic reaction to silicone, but those patients are extremely rare. So I believe one can do a retrial of silicone sling if a person is not confident of doing fasciolata, but that should obviously be done after some time period, minimum 2 months. If you can delay it beyond more.
And you'll need to
Yeah.
do a generous granuloma excision. That goes without saying.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
just to put the
Correct.
record straight.
Correct.
Right? So you'll have to do a generous granuloma excision till you reach a healthy margin, and then because otherwise that will keep recurring.
Yes, sir, please.
Buccal,
yeah.
and whenever infection occurs, we have to remove. There is no treatment.
There is no-
Antibiotics will not work.
Yeah, it's basically a foreign body granuloma. So unless you remove the foreign body, granuloma will not subside. So silicone sling is like that only. The infection or granuloma, if it has occurred, then it is like a foreign body granuloma. So, yes, sir.
Well, ideally, as everybody says, is fasciolata, and I have hardly ever used sling with silicone, because earlier days silicone used to be of a poor quality, which causes lots of problems. Over the years, the silicone has improved, but still, ideal will be a fasciolata, though you have to have learned to get a good strip of fasciolata, and you can always use a fasciotome rather than an incision. Earlier days we used to put a long incision to the deep facial atta, but now with the fasciotome, it's much easier. And I'll advise people to go more for facial atta rather than for this. Thank you.
Yes.
I have one question to you. In your earlier life, when there was the scarcity of silicon, did you use proline?
No.
I think we've used Ethibond
Yes.
sutures many years ago, but it's Proline.
The chances of this granuloma and then undercorrection later on were much higher in those materials. We used a lot of Ethibond. Then we also used PTFE, either strips or sutures. And we have also used iBank sclera, which also gives good results. But again, all the other problems of these, but at least it's an autologous material, but it can cause sometimes, you have to be very sure that your screening of the tissue is very good for all the, viral diseases and all those things, right?